Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Luna and Morpho. We are so excited to bring you another timeless transmission today. So, while we're getting started, please feel free to just take a nice big deep breath. Notice how your body is feeling, any emotions that are present at this moment, and just let this reading be a little retreat from your day, a little reset. We're really excited that you're here.
Yeah, so right out of the gate, I got Dandelion with Wounded Healer.
That's so appropriate.
Mm-hmm. Number 53, which is an 8. I really love that. It's actually really cool. I heard this cool thing about dandelions, and they're just like one of the best. They're incredible medicine. So it's actually really interesting that we think of them as like a weed, because they're actually they're actually such a cool plant. I saw it and it was like, what other plant is like the sun and the moon? And it's like when it's yellow, it's like the sun. And when it's like white, it's like the moon. You can like make wishes with them. And they're also like so healing. And so it's like, it's one of the coolest plants there is. And we just label it as like this thing, like, oh, this weed, instead of like, it's just really cool because it's got this cycle too. Like, I don't know. I really like that though.
That's beautiful. I've never thought of dandelions that way.
I know, I didn't either till I saw that. And I was like, how interesting. Okay. This message actually feels super clear to me. And how wild, like, there's this, it's what is already with you. And there's this like sacred geometry on it. And there's also this same sacred geometry on this card. So those feel really aligned. And I'm already getting a message. This one's 8 as well.
So aligned.
Yeah.
I have a card that's an 8 too.
Nice. I'm not even surprised. Not even surprised.
Me neither. Oh, it's really interesting with the dandelion card you got because with the wounded healer, I know that that also ties to Chiron um, in astrology. And Chiron is one of those planets or kind of aspects that are similar to Lilith. Now, I'm not an astrology expert, but I know that Chiron and Lilith tend to be linked. And Tilly and I, before we clicked record today, we're actually just talking about Lilith. And Tilly was kind of telling me the story of Lilith and what she represents. And so I feel like it's not by mistake that Chiron is also here, kind of bringing up our inner rebel energy and showing us where we can sort of heal through our own limitations or our own mistakes or our own kind of illusions about who we are and what's possible for us. So I'd love to hear what's kind of coming through for you, Tilly, with these cards, because I know you said the message feels fairly clear.
I mean, for me, it feels like we've all been in some deep healing. It feels like we've all been going through some really deep, like, soul work and some soul lessons and some soul things. And there's actually this thing called the healing trap, which is when you're constantly in a state of like, oh, I need to heal more, or I'm not healed, or I'm broken, or this is wrong, or this is wrong. And it's like, this just feels like it's inviting you to this place of like, what if you are perfect exactly where you're at? What if you are like exactly where you're meant to be? And what if you don't need to continuously look for the healing? That's just what it's something that I've been sitting with lately, because I'm a Reiki master and spiritual guide, and I lead people through courses. And then I also see people taking like course after course after course after course after course after course, or they're like constantly like going through like a death and a rebirth and a death and a rebirth and a death and a rebirth and a death and a rebirth. Or there, it's like I see a lot of this. I'm in a healing, like I'm in a healing space, so I'm constantly seeing people looking for healing. And at some point it's like, is it ever enough? Like, are you ever just enough? Do you ever reach this place of just enoughness and like enjoying the view from where you're at? And So yeah, I really love this because it's like the butterfly is like here, and like, can you just enjoy being the butterfly without like wanting to go back into the thing? So it just feels like we've been through a lot of healing lately, and it kind of to me just is like, just you're here, you've arrived kind of energy. But what are you getting, Lindsay? That's just, and that just may be my own thing from things that I see is like we're constantly looking for healing. And there's also this like rainbow here, which is dope. It reminds me of Wonderland. But yeah. And it's kind of like, yeah, what does that feel like for you, Lindsay? Or is
Yeah.
that the same message? Are you getting something like the opposite message? How are you feeling with all of it?
Well, it's interesting how much our cards tie together. So I'll show mine in a moment. But something else I want to point out about yours is the hands are like this, but then the dandelions are like this too.
Mm,
Like I see this shape. And to me, this shape is kind of like it depends on where you're at and how you look at it, right? It depends on your perspective. You can either be opening and releasing from here, or you can be receiving from here. And for me, when I look at this energy of both cards, I see these hands receiving these butterflies. And it's almost like there's this energy of like, I'm looking for growth everywhere. I'm looking for like the butterfly everywhere to spread my wings and like the uniqueness. And like, I'm looking for it outside when really like it's already here. And even the way that these hands remind me of like butterfly wings, like there's just two sides of the wing. And so it's like these hands are mirroring the journey of the butterfly, but it's already with you. Even with the dandelion, the way that it kind of splays out like this, the dandelion's receiving the sun, it's receiving the day, it's in a period of like taking in and receiving. And so it's really beautiful with that 8 energy as well, because I always think of the number 8 on its side as the infinity symbol. So it's this divine, ever flowing energy that has no beginning, no end. It's equal giving and receiving. And so, really, the 8 gives me this mirror for life that you get back what you put out. And so, if you're believing in miracles and sending out the intention that good is coming to you, you're setting your sights on what you're ready to receive and that miracles are being sent to you. And so the rainbow on the dandelion card really reminds me of that miracle energy. I mean, I think butterflies are absolutely miraculous creatures. The sacred geometry is a miracle beyond what we can comprehend through like not only what the geometry looks like, but how sound waves also kind of portray that shape, or the shape of water can also be like the molecular structure of water can also be sacred geometry just like that. So it's very interesting. So that's part of what I'm seeing. And I don't think it's a mistake that on my side here, we have a couple of guides. The first card I want to bring up though is Hilarion with divine healing. He just is with the collective right now. So I agree with you. We've definitely been through a period of deep healing recently. But something that's really standing out from this card is this jewel on his heart, this jewel on his chest. It feels like we're ready to shine more brightly because of the healing that we've gone through. And we're almost receiving our own radiance, is what's coming through. So with that mirror, it's like instead of looking externally for who we are, we're letting it kind of emanate out from us. And so life becomes reflective of us. Our relationships become healed because we feel more healed. Like, and that can splay to every single area of life. Our job becomes, or our career becomes more full of flow and ease because internally we feel more flow and ease. There's just this really warm permission in a way to get out of the dark healing place, kind of like what you were saying of always needing to heal, always needing to do more, operating from beliefs of I'm broken, or there's when is it ever going to end? Like there's always more to fix in me, and arriving to this place of I'm exactly where I need to be and I've already healed so much. Like let me acknowledge how whole I have become compared to the me yesterday, last week, few years ago, wherever it is. So it's really beautiful that that card came up. There are 2 other guides here that I want to introduce quickly. The first is Maya with illusion, also 8 in numerology, with card number 35. And it's interesting that this illusion comes with this divine healing. Because again, when I think of illusion, I think of a mirror. And a mirror can play all sorts of tricks on our eye depending on the way that light shines off of it. It also kind of reminds me in movies, especially, I don't know if you've ever seen like a scary movie, but there's this trope that I always think of. I don't really watch horror films or like scary movies anymore, but there's this trope in movies where someone will go lean in the sink and wash their face and the camera's on the mirror. And then when they come up, there's like someone behind them, like scaring them in the mirror. And I think it's literally called a mirror scare. And it's so interesting because as someone that's trained in acting, that has had a lot of film experience, anytime I see those scenes, I always notice the angle that they're filming it out, because filming it from, because there's a camera there somewhere. And if the cameraman was right in front of the mirror, you'd be able to see the camera. So it's always shot from the side. So what you're seeing looks like this reality, but actually like that it's just this woman washing her face alone besides whoever like pops up behind her. But actually there's an entire film crew there. You just can't see them because of the way you're looking at the mirror. So it's an illusion. And it kind of gives me that feeling in life right now where what you're choosing to see in the mirror could be a very limited view of everything that's actually there, of everything that's actually happening. And so with healing, for instance, it's reminding me of us maybe being in a little bit of a difficult time. Like maybe you just got laid off from your job. Maybe you're going through a breakup. Maybe you lost someone in your family. Maybe you're going through a time of heightened anxiety and depression, or you feel like you're struggling with your mental or emotional health and you don't understand where the healing is in it. Or maybe you're just kind of in that moment of suffering and this moment of grief and loss. And this illusion is that there's not more than that, or that it's not for a bigger purpose, or that there's not a lesson in it. Or maybe the illusion for you is being at this good place in your life, but almost self-sabotaging a little bit by looking at what the wrong thing is so that you can go heal it, so that you can kind of gain that self-worth of like, okay, I've fixed that problem, I've healed that thing. So it's kind of interesting that healing and illusion is coming up at the same time. And it gives me very, again, kind of Gemini vibes. If you're watching this right now, we're filming this in Gemini season. And Gemini season is a time of flow. And it actually reminds me of that 8 energy, the infinity symbol energy of there these 2 energies kind of like swirling together, and it's highly dynamic and really interesting. Gemini being the twins, it's opposites in a way. It's polarity and learning from both sides and feeling free to express more than one side of you, being multifaceted. So I wonder if part of the lesson here or message here is to not put yourself in a box and choose one thing, whether it's on your healing journey or whether you're looking at your life in one particular way. It seems like maybe we're getting caught up on one small thing instead of kind of widening our lens and looking at what's unfolding in a bigger way and getting curious about it. It's almost like instead of condemning our life with one energy, we're getting curious of like, okay, this one energy is present, and what else is here? What else can I find here? What else can I see in this experience? How else can I feel about this experience? Like, let me open myself up to the possibilities and just explore. That feels like part of the invitation that's coming through here.
Yeah, I love what you said about that Gemini energy, because if you look at this card, there's like this dark side and there's also the rainbow on this side. And so it does feel like this duality. And then there's also the dandelion in full at this cycle and this part of the cycle. And to me, there's also this message of like, you're not broken at any part of the cycle. Like at no part of your journey are you like, is it wrong or off or anything? And it may, yeah, it's like, it's almost like this illusion of like, well, this place isn't as beautiful as this place, where all of it's actually like really beautiful. Like if you look at the stars at night, like how do you say like, oh, the stars are more beautiful than a rainbow? You know, like it's like all of it's so beautiful and all of it's within you. And so yeah, there's this part of like, yeah, like kind of zooming out. Like it gives me Mother Mary and Lilith vibes too. Like there are one energy like more beautiful than the other. And I just love that what you were saying about like this illusion of like maybe what you're seeing right now may look like a dark night, but if you look up, there's like stars, and it's like really beautiful where you're at. And some people may be like, oh, this yellow, you should look like the yellow part of the dandelion, and you're feeling like you're here, but like it's so beautiful if you look at the little things and making a wish and like all of those things, like the whole cycle, like it with the 8 too, is just like all of it's part of the same like journey and cycle. And so yeah, I really love that part, and that all of it's within you. Like you contain this dark and you contain this light, and I really love what you said with that too. Are you getting anything from this Merkaba?
Hmm. Yes, actually. The Merkaba also has so many sides to it. And the Merkaba is a sacred geometry symbol for manifestation. And part of the reason why the Merkaba is used to manifest is because the Merkaba represents limitless possibilities and being tapped into infinite possibilities. And no matter how you look at the Merkaba, there's always like another side you haven't seen of it before. And when you look at that Merkaba specifically, depending on the way the light is refracting off of it or reflecting off of it, some sides look light and some look dark, but they're right next to each other. And so that's so interesting to me, especially because I have this other card here of adaptability. And to me, it feels like there's an invitation here in this space to be multidimensional, to be multifaceted, and to let yourself be seen in your uniqueness and in all of your sides. There's also something about my belly's getting really warm all of a sudden. It feels like there's this sun, this self-worth that's being healed here as well. And so I wonder if many of us during this time, or you, if you're watching this video today, are going to be healing our self-worth by acknowledging all of our different sides. One is not better than the other. Our anger is no less beautiful than our joy. Both are emotions that are here to teach us and are here to show us what is in alignment with us and what's not, what we choose and what we do not choose. It's all part of our expression. And it reminds me of what you were saying with like, you know, what's more beautiful, stars or a rainbow? One exists in the dark, one exists in the light, but you can't separate the two. It's all beautiful. It was reminding me of the wheel card in the tarot, which is card number 10. But if you think of a wheel, you can be sitting on top of the wheel or you can be sitting on the bottom of the wheel. So with life, you can feel on top of the world or kind of in the shadows of it, but the wheel's always turning. So you're always going to come back up and come back down, come back up, come back down. And it's part of that. It's really part of the human experience. It really truly is like having a full spectrum life. And I believe that deep in our core, we all want that full spectrum life. That's why we're here. We want to feel it all and fall in love. And like, maybe we get hurt in the process, but it's so worth it because we learn who we are and we, you know, get this freedom of expression. So with that Merkaba, it is really bringing me that adaptability vibe here of allowing yourself to shift and change. Also totally relates to Gemini season as well. And the infinity symbol of, even with the infinity symbol, sometimes we're on the up and sometimes we're on the slope, on the down. And either way, we're still in movement and we're still shifting and learning. The last card I have here is Radha with Soul Flame. And this is about, literally the bottom of the card says, rediscover a lost part of yourself. Experience relationship, harmony, and healing. So healing here as well. So I think the way that you're being invited to heal at this time is to notice where you have, either in your life or within yourself, started to shun certain aspects of you. Like maybe there's one area of your life that's just not good enough and you're being really hung up on it not being perfect enough or not being beautiful enough, or maybe in comparison to the other aspects of your life, there's just one part that you really can't let go and you feel shame surrounding that. Or maybe within you, there's an energy that's coming up. Like maybe you're feeling a little more sexually free at this time. Maybe you're feeling a little bit more agitated than usual. Maybe you're feeling like standing in your boundaries, which might not be the easiest thing for you. That's been what's coming up for me. And when we express ourselves in new ways, and when we're exploring our edges and our uncomfortability, sometimes we can make mistakes in the way we communicate. Sometimes we can feel strange about expressing ourselves in new ways. So notice where you might be either shaming yourself, shunning yourself, putting yourself in a box and telling yourself, I can't be that. That's not right. And see if you can rediscover a lost part of yourself and let it out. Be adaptable, be multifaceted, allow yourself to be all of it at once. I mean, this is the invitation of Gemini season. And absolutely, I feel the invitation in this reading is to heal through that dynamic self-expression and allowing yourself to not condemn any part of your experience, because where you are is exactly where you're meant to be. And it's going to be so fleeting. I know it might not feel that way at the moment, but I want you to think about, where you were this time last year, what was going on for you then, who you were, and maybe even thinking back to that time, if you were in a similar time to now where things maybe felt a little bit heavy, or maybe they felt, you've had other times in your past where you felt stuck and then you've gotten through them. And even at the time, it might feel like, wow, I've been here for so long. But when you look back, it goes like this. Like, we had a whole year. Whenever you're watching this, last year was a different year. And it was a whole year, 365 days of a cycle of an experience. And now it's gone. And you can just think like it feels like it went by in a flash. It's like, did it even happen? This experience can be experienced in a similar way, that nothing is forever. I feel like it's a highly dynamic time, and to explore that and ride that wave can be really healing, really healing. It's this essence of freedom to give yourself the permission to just flow with where life is asking you to be right now. I just feel like that opens something. And back to that kind of like receiving energy as well, or maybe it is that opening, like the opening of the hands or the opening of the dandelion. There's this opening here at the heart that's reminding me of that Hilarion as well. This like, just this opening to be like, okay, I'm receiving the now. I'm receiving my current experience, and I'm going to explore it in every possible way that I can.
I really love that like opening of the heart too with the diamond, because the diamond is cut so multifaceted as well. So it's like, can I show like all of myself too, and allow that. And it's all I also just love this whole thing we were talking about with the dandelion, is because like, yeah, if you've most people, when you like first see a dandelion, you're like, oh, weed, but like when you actually like dive into it and the medicine in it and the cycle of it, and actually how beautiful it is that it has like the sun and the moon in it, it's like, oh, now I see this much differently. And so I do feel like there's also an invitation to see these parts of you that maybe you don't think are like beautiful or this, and just look at them and show them and see them in a different way and let them be seen in a different way. Yeah. I love that.
I love it too. I love it too.
Yeah, I feel like that's the message. So, do you have any closing things to wrap it up, Lindsay?
Just to keep your heart open to the now, to let yourself experience the present fully, because one day it's going to be time to have a new experience. And the more that you can be present with this one, there's just limitless possibilities for the healing that can happen here, and who you can become, and what you can learn from this time. So that's something that I'm definitely taking away for myself. And I wanted to offer that to everyone else one final time in case it resonates.
Yeah, I really love that as well, of just like enjoying this moment, because it's not going to be this forever. Like, it's not going to be the rainbows and the butterflies forever. And it's also not going to be night forever. And it's not like, each of them are so beautiful in their own way. And yeah, just really, really just, can I be here right now in whatever cycle I'm in, whatever stage I'm in, and just really shine bright. So yeah, I really love that. Beautiful. Okay, my loves, thank you for being here with us. We hope you received some messages that maybe you needed to hear, even if it was just like one little word, or even just that little message about the dandelion or the Merkaba and being multifaceted. There's a lot of little trinkets here. So yeah, just sending you guys love and happy Gemini season.
Thank you so much for being here. Also, if you liked our video, don't forget to click the like button. If you want to see more videos like this one in the future, please click subscribe, and we will see you again for another timeless transmission really soon.
I also feel really called to say if this transmission didn't resonate with you, all of our videos have a picture and an angel number and a crystal, and they're meant to be intuitive. And so if there's another one that you feel more aligned with, then that one may have a message for you as well, or it may have a message for you that resonates a little bit more. Okay, loving you all.